A man at the coffee shop insisted I give him my table because women shouldn't sit alone when a man needs a seat. When I refused, he knocked over my drink and sneered, "Maybe next time you'll be more respectful." As the manager banned him for life, I held up my phone and said, "Enjoy your new fame, you're already trending." This happened a couple years ago, but I still think about it. What started as a normal Sunday morning turned into something that shook me for days. I haven't shared it until now, but it's burned into my memory like it happened yesterday. I live in Seattle. I work from home most days and don't get a lot of human interaction outside of work. Every Sunday, I walk down to this coffee shop in Capitol Hill, about 10 blocks from my apartment. It's not a chain, not fancy, just a quiet little place with good coffee and mismatched furniture. I go there to read, think, and just breathe. It's something I look forward to all week. That day was no different. I left my apartment around 9:45 a.m., got there a little after 10. The place was busy, but not packed. I ordered my usual, an oat milk latte, extra hot, and somehow got lucky and grabbed the small table by the window. It's a two-top, just enough space for me and a book. I always sit there when I can. I had just started reading. Literally, just started. Book open, hands around the cup, first sip. Not even a full page in. Then he walked in. He was maybe mid-50s. Tall, graying, wearing a tan trench coat and black shoes that looked too formal for a Sunday morning. He had this air about him, like everyone should get out of his way. He didn't line up to order, didn't look at the menu. He just started looking around, scanning for a seat like a shark circling its prey. His eyes landed on me. He walked over, stood way too close to my table, and just stared for a second. Then, in this overly calm voice, he said, "Excuse me, are you going to be long?" I looked up, caught off guard. I just sat down. "There aren't any other tables. Maybe you could finish up or move to a stool." I blinked. "Sorry, I just got here. I'll be here a while." Then his tone shifted. He raised his eyebrows and said, "You know, women shouldn't sit alone when a man needs a seat." He said it like it was common sense. Like I should just smile and say, "Oh, of course, sir, take my seat." I stared at him for a second, thinking I must have heard wrong. "What? You're sitting alone. You could make room." "It's rude not to," he said, looking around like someone was going to agree with him. At this point, I was feeling a weird mix of shock and anger. I said, "I'm not giving up my table." He narrowed his eyes and said, "You'd think women today would have some respect for older men." Now I was pissed. I said, "This isn't your seat. I was here first. Please leave me alone." I turned back to my book. That should have been the end of it. But he didn't leave. He just stood there. Then, without saying another word, he reached out and knocked over my latte with the back of his hand. It happened fast. The cup tipped, and the hot coffee splashed across the table, over my book, down my sweater, and into my lap. I jumped back, stunned. People nearby gasped. A woman across from me stood up. One of the baristas shouted, "Hey." He smirked. Literally smirked. And said, "Maybe next time you'll be more respectful." Then he turned around and walked to an empty stool someone had just left near the counter. My hands were shaking. Not from the coffee, though it was hot, but from what just happened. It wasn't just the mess. It was how casual he was about it. Like he didn't care. Like I deserved it. Here's what he didn't know. My phone had been recording the whole time. I record short videos for myself, just little clips of my life. I had propped my phone up earlier on the window ledge, front camera facing me, to catch the natural light. I was recording a quick clip talking about the book I was reading. The app was still running. It caught everything behind me, him walking up, speaking, leaning in, spilling my drink, and walking away. I played it back. Clear sound. Clear video. I grabbed some napkins, cleaned myself up as best I could. My sweater was soaked. My book was ruined. My legs were wet and sticky. The latte had soaked into the seat cushion. Everyone around me was staring. I walked to the counter and asked for the manager. The barista already looked upset and pointed toward the back. A woman came out. Early 30s, tattoos on both arms, black apron, name tag that said, Anna. She looked at me and said, "I saw what happened. Are you okay?" I told her I was fine, but I had something she needed to see. I showed her the video. Her mouth tightened as she watched. No reaction, no words. Just a slow breath through her nose. She looked over my shoulder at where the man was now sitting, sipping a drink like nothing had happened. "I'll handle it," she said. She walked over. Firm steps. No hesitation. I followed a few steps behind, not close enough to be involved, just close enough to see. She tapped him on the shoulder. "Sir, you need to leave." He looked up. "Excuse me? You're not welcome here anymore. Please leave." He frowned. "What for?" "I didn't do anything." "You threw a drink on a customer." He scoffed. "I didn't throw anything." It spilled. Maybe if she wasn't so defensive, I've seen the video. He paused. His face twitched. You're kicking me out for that? Yes. You're banned from this cafe. Permanently. He stood up slowly, trying to look composed, but you could see it in his eyes. Panic. Embarrassment. Anger. You're making a mistake, he said. She didn't reply. Just stood there. That's when I stepped closer. I was still holding my phone, screen showing the paused video, him mid-smirk, mid-motion, drink spilling. I said, enjoy your new fame. You're already trending. His eyes flicked to the screen. He opened his mouth, closed it, then turned and walked out the door. Nobody stopped him. Nobody said a word. People just watched as the door closed behind him. He was gone, but the mess he made wasn't. The table was still wet. My sweater stuck to my arms. My book was destroyed, pages curling and stained dark brown. But I didn't move. I stood there, phone in hand, watching the door like he might come back and try something else. Anna offered to get me a towel and a new drink. I thanked her, but my stomach was twisted. I couldn't sit back down. I felt like if I blinked too long, something else would happen. I stepped outside to breathe. It was cloudy, a little wind picking up. Typical Seattle day. I stood under the coffee shop's awning and pulled out my phone again. I played the video once more. Watching it felt unreal. I watched it 3 more times. He really said that. He really did that. He really smirked and walked off like I was the one being unreasonable. I hadn't even started thinking about posting it yet. I wasn't sure I wanted to deal with the comments or strangers online. But I sent the clip to a friend first. She was the kind of person who always told me, you don't let people like that slide. That's how they keep doing it. She called me almost immediately. Post it, she said. Post it right now. I told her I didn't want to go viral. She said, he probably does this stuff all the time. You've got him on video. People need to see it. I thought about it for a few minutes. Then I did it. I posted it to my story first, no caption, just the raw clip. Within an hour, it was being shared. Friends messaged me. Coworkers. Even my cousin who lives in Chicago. People were angry. People were shocked. Some were crying laughing at how casually he tried to act like the victim. And then it took off. Someone I barely knew, a girl I met once at a tech networking event, messaged me and asked if she could post it to her bigger account. I said yes. That's when it really exploded. She added captions. Subtitles. Even the man's quote in bold text, women shouldn't sit alone when a man needs a seat. I turned my phone on Do Not Disturb. I couldn't keep up with it. And then, something I didn't expect happened. He found me. Not in person. Not yet. But in my email. It was about 2 days later. I checked my inbox like usual, and there it was. Subject line, take it down. No greeting. No apology. Just, you've made your point. I lost a client today because of your little video. Take it down before this gets worse for both of us. Worse for both of us? I sat there staring at the screen. My hands actually started shaking. The anger rushed back into my chest, heavier than before. He still thought he was the victim. I didn't reply. I forwarded the email to myself, saved it in 3 places, then blocked the address. But I wasn't done. I posted a screenshot of that email with his name blurred, but not too well. You could still see the initials. I added a note, he spilled my drink. He insulted me. He's still threatening me. This is what happens when you hold people accountable. More DMs flooded in. A few women messaged me with stories about a man that sounded exactly like him. Similar behavior. Same trench coat. Same smug attitude. One woman said he used to work with her friend and would call interns sugar and sweetheart, like it was the 1950s. Another said she saw him yell at a waitress in Queen and for talking back when she reminded him that tips were optional, not demands. This was a pattern. I wasn't the first. Probably wouldn't have been the last. Then came the next twist. The cafe called me. Anna left a voicemail. Hey, I didn't want to alarm you, but the guy came back today. My heart stopped. She went on. He didn't come inside. He just stood across the street, staring. He was there for almost half an hour. I took a picture through the window. She sent me the photo. Grainy, zoomed in, but it was definitely him. Same coat. Same look. Just standing there. Watching. I felt sick. I called the non-emergency police line, told them about the incident, the email, now this. They told me I could file a report. I did. I asked about a restraining order. They said unless he approached me or came to my home, I couldn't get one yet. So I waited. Watched. Posted updates. And every time I posted, the video gained more traction. One Twitter account with 1 million followers reposted it. It ended up on a Reddit thread. Then another. People kept tagging Seattle companies, realtors, offices, asking if they knew him. I didn't name him. I didn't have to. Someone else did. A woman messaged me one night. No profile picture. No posts. Her message was short. That's my husband. I sat frozen. I read it again. She followed up almost instantly. I'm not defending him. I've left him before because of this kind of behavior. This isn't new. He always acts like women owe him something. I've warned people. Nobody listened. Then, thank you for filming it. No punctuation. No emojis. Just that. Then she deleted her account. I never heard from her again. But I couldn't stop wondering, how long had he been getting away with this? How many people had just moved on, not wanting to deal with him? How many women had been too stunned to speak up? I had proof. I had a voice. And for the first time in a long time, I felt like I was using it right. But it wasn't over. A few days later, someone slipped a note under my apartment door. Just one sentence. You should learn when to stay quiet. No name. No handwriting I recognized. But I knew exactly who it was meant for. I picked up the note with both hands like it might burn me. It was written in thick black ink on plain white paper. No envelope, no address, nothing. Just those words. You should learn when to stay quiet. No one saw who left it. I checked the hallway, the stairs, even asked my neighbor across the hall if she'd noticed anything. She hadn't. My building doesn't have cameras in the hallway, just one outside the main door. I emailed the property manager, asked if they could check footage. They said the camera had been acting up all week. Of course it had. I didn't sleep much that night. I double-checked the locks. I pushed a chair under the doorknob like I was back in a college dorm. Every sound outside made me sit up. I didn't cry, but I wanted to. This man didn't just want an apology, he wanted silence. And now I was genuinely scared. I called the police again, reported the note. Same answer. Until he did something physical, they couldn't do much. They said I could document everything, keep records. That's what I did. I made a folder on my desktop with screenshots, messages, voicemails, the photo Anna took, even the video again. Just in case. I thought about taking the video down. I thought about staying offline for a while. I even turned off comments for a day. That night, a friend came over. She brought takeout and said, if he's watching you, let's make sure he sees you're not alone. I didn't say it, but I really needed that. A couple more days passed. No new messages. No more notes. Just quiet. Then the news broke. A reporter from a local station had picked up the story. Somehow, someone leaked his name. Not me. I never said it. But it got out. His full name, his former job, even a blurry photo of him at some conference from 2 years ago. They didn't show my face. Just my voice in a phone interview and some b-roll of the coffee shop. I didn't want attention, but I did want people to understand what happened. That same day, I got another email. Different address this time. But the message was crystal clear. I know what you did. This isn't justice. It's cruelty. You'll regret this. Again, no name. Just the threat. I sent it to the detective assigned to the case. Still, not enough to act on. The next twist came from somewhere I didn't expect. One of my coworkers, someone I barely talked to outside of meetings, pulled me aside on a Zoom call. Said, hey, I think I used to work with that guy. A long time ago. She said he was a freelance consultant years back. Always inappropriate. Always pushing boundaries. She said she filed a complaint after he cornered her during a work trip. HR handled it quietly. Apparently, that was his thing. Show up at companies, charm execs, treat women like props, and vanish before HR had time to act. She said he'd bragged once about not needing an office to have power. Called himself old school. I asked her if she'd go on record. She paused, then said, only if you do. I wasn't sure. But she convinced me. Together, we talked to a reporter from a larger news outlet. National. We gave our statements. We showed the emails. She had screenshots of her old complaint. I had the video. The story went wide. That's when the threats stopped. But something else started. People, strangers, started emailing me. Not to insult. Not to defend him. To share their own stories. Some were from women he worked with. Some were from women who just knew other men like him. Men who thought they could talk down to women, touch without permission, act like every space was theirs to take. And then one message stood out. It was from a name I didn't recognize. I think you're brave for posting that video. But you should know, he's done worse. He just hasn't been caught. There was no return email. No other info. Just that line. I read it 5 times. My hands went cold. I sent it to the detective. He didn't say much. Just thanked me. A week later, I got another call from someone in law enforcement this time. They asked me questions. Wanted to confirm details. Asked about the email, the video, the coffee shop. Then they dropped something I wasn't ready for. They had opened a separate investigation into the man. Not because of me. Because someone else came forward. Someone he worked with. A woman. She filed a police report. He had followed her home once. Watched her from his car. Tried to get into her building. But she had no proof, just her word and a shaky feeling. Then she saw the video. My video. She realized she wasn't imagining it. She wasn't alone. That video was her push. And suddenly, this wasn't just a viral moment anymore. This was about a pattern. Something people had known about but hadn't seen. Now, they had seen it. All of it. And it wasn't over yet. The story kept snowballing. After the national news picked it up, everything escalated. I couldn't walk into the grocery store without wondering if someone recognized me from the clip. I kept getting tagged in posts, messages from strangers, and articles linking the video to a broader conversation about women's safety, workplace harassment, and male entitlement. And then came the subpoena. The man, his name now widely known, but I still won't say it here, had filed a defamation lawsuit against me. It was ridiculous, and honestly, it was a last-ditch effort. His name was already out there because of the behavior he displayed. The video wasn't edited. I hadn't lied. But still, he was trying to claw his way back to power, and this was his move. I met with a lawyer. She was sharp, no nonsense, and looked at the file for about 5 minutes before saying, "This isn't a lawsuit. It's an intimidation tactic." I was scared, but I wasn't surprised. What I didn't expect was the court hearing turning into the real moment of truth. It was a pretrial motion. Nothing big. I showed up in a clean blazer, heart pounding so hard I felt dizzy. He was already there when I arrived, sitting straight-backed like he had something to prove. He glanced at me once and looked away, jaw clenched, lips pressed thin. I could see the flush of anger creeping up his neck. The judge was direct. Asked his lawyer to present the case. His attorney claimed the video misrepresented him. That it was taken out of context. That I had posted it to destroy his reputation and incite online harassment. My lawyer stood up and said nothing but, "We have the video. The full video. Audio included. Would the court like to see it?" The judge nodded. They played the clip on a monitor. Same one I'd seen 100 times. He walks up. Speaks. Knocks over the drink. Smirks. Says his now infamous line. Walks away. No voiceover. No edits. Just the moment itself. Then my lawyer added, "We also have the threatening emails. The photo of him watching from across the street. The note left under her door." His attorney looked at him. Then whispered something. And then, for the first time, he spoke. "I didn't threaten her," he said. Quiet, but sharp. Then louder, "I didn't write that note. I didn't follow her. You're trying to ruin me over a coffee spill and a joke." "A joke?" I asked, before I could stop myself. I stood. The judge didn't stop me. "You call that a joke? You dumped a hot drink on me, insulted me in public, then watched me from across the street like a creep. You sent me an email telling me to be careful or it'd get worse. You're not a joke, you're a threat." His face turned red. "Oh, please," he snapped, standing up too. "You women think every interaction is some trauma. God forbid someone calls you out for acting entitled. All I wanted was a seat. And you think that means I owe it to you?" My voice cracked a little, but I held on. "You think women just exist to move when men want them to? To be quiet? To give in?" He didn't answer. But then someone else spoke. From the back of the courtroom. "I told you this would happen." The voice was soft. Familiar. I turned. It was the woman who had messaged me. His wife. Or former wife, I wasn't sure anymore. She stepped forward. The courtroom was silent. She wore no makeup, simple clothes, but her expression was razor-sharp. "He's been like this for years," she said. "He talks down to women. Harasses waitresses. Tells our daughter she's too emotional when she doesn't smile for strangers." He turned toward her. "You don't have to do this," he said, voice low. She didn't flinch. "You made this mess. You've made dozens of them. This is the first time someone didn't clean it up for you." The judge asked her to sit unless she was a witness. She said she was. She submitted her own written statement. She'd seen the email before he sent it. She'd watched him type it. He looked like he'd been punched. The judge scheduled a formal hearing for dismissal. But we both knew it was over. After court, I walked out onto the sidewalk, trying to slow my breathing. The cold air helped. My lawyer stayed behind to handle paperwork. I leaned against the brick wall, eyes closed. That's when the wife came up to me. She didn't smile. Just looked tired. "I'm sorry you went through this," she said. "And I'm sorry I didn't say something sooner. I should have warned more people." I kept thinking it wasn't my responsibility. "It wasn't yours," I said. She nodded. "Still, it matters now." She started to walk away, then stopped. "By the way, he lost custody in the divorce. You weren't the only reason. But you helped. Then she left. A few days later, the case was dropped. His firm released a public statement cutting all ties. A few small outlets printed follow-ups, but things quieted down. The noise online faded. The comments slowed. I finally took the video down, not out of fear, just because I felt like it had done its job. I went back to the drip joint a few weeks later. Different book. Different table. Anna smiled when she saw me. You good? She asked. Getting there, I said. She nodded. You look more solid. I sat by the window. Took a sip of my drink. Let the quiet surround me. Everything felt a little sharper now. The air. The sound of the espresso machine. The way people moved around me. I'd always thought of myself as someone who kept things to myself. Who didn't cause scenes. Who avoided confrontation. But I learned that day, and every day since, that silence is its own kind of violence. Sometimes, speaking up isn't about being brave. It's about finally being done. And right now, I'm done being quiet.